I'm going to quickly go through, and we don't have to spend too much time. I just wanted to get the concept of this. One big thing we do offer right now, you can send us a set of plans and we can work that and give you an idea. We can give you a quote of materials and a scheme for doing the ventilation as people are getting started. Most people are finding that after they work with it a little bit, it's pretty straightforward once you accept the concepts that we're working with and basically work a couple of projects. Okay? So I'm just going to go through a couple of points here. Fresh air to laundry, technical room, from an outside duct, insulated. One very important point I want to make, this flex stuff, the wire flex duct and so forth for intake and exhaust ducting, is not a very good thing. It creates all sorts of places for dust to settle. Moisture is added to that, and then you got, green things growing in there. And that's going to affect, especially on your air intake. You're bringing in, you put in this incredible ventilation system with heat recovery and filters and all the rest, and then you're bringing in stuff through your duct by the ducting. Use smooth duct. There's no real good answer right now, but I think we're going to solve that by adding something that originally I said, no, I don't want to ship air from Europe. We make in Europe tubing, ducting, standard 6-inch ducting basically. It's millimeters, but it works for, it's styrofoam ducting, molded styrofoam ducting. So it's insulated, it's smooth inside, and it snaps together very easily. You just put caulk on the seams, and it's, again, no leakage and no issues at all.
Isn't one of the other things is to make that unit as close to the outside as possible?
Absolutely.
Because that distance that you're running, that's kind of the thing you can shorten the most. It's going to give you the best
performance-wise, yes. Not to mention you're bringing in cold outside air or hot outside air, and you want to have that insulated. And the longer it is, the more of that issue it is. Yeah, absolutely. If you can put it on the wall and have it come up and go out there, one elbow and out through the wall. The other thing you do want to do is keep in consideration your fresh air supply and your return air. Ideally, you want it on a different plane. In other words, one wall with the intake and one wall with the exhaust. You don't want to have them right next to each other for obvious reasons. Blow it out and take it back. The other thing you want to be aware is of surroundings. There's actually a project in Switzerland that I was made aware of in training. There's a guy with a gas grill right next to their intake. So they know what he's having for dinner quite a few times. So just awareness of intakes, exhaust. Try to make sure at least 6 feet apart is the general rule, but we like it on a separate plane if you can do it. Which means you can't have it directly out. You're going to have, somewhere you're going to have a run. The better run is obviously the exhaust because that's indoor temperature. All right? Fresh air bedrooms, exhaust air from the bathrooms and kitchen. Balancing we talked about. We call this elegant simplicity. This is a baffle. It's basically a bundle of straws for linear flow. When you use a flapper damper to restrict flow, you create all sorts of turbulence in your ducting. This is all linear. And then what you have is on the end of it is a little washer. And the kit that we sell comes with 4 different size washers. So you change this washer to how much restriction you have. So if you have short runs and long runs in a house, you want to restrict the flow in the short runs because you do have pressure drop in the ducting. So to balance the system, you can add this, and it's done very easily. If you have your boxes in this duct, this can go right in and slide in place. So it's accessible at your boxes. So you can go around the house, and I'll talk about commissioning. Basically, you can do a flow meter check on all your ducts, add them all up, and if you have some differentials on those short runs. You can restrict those with these very easily and balance your system out.
It's kind of sad that the Europeans are so far ahead of us. It's good to
No,
report this stuff, so
We're here.
maybe we'll catch up.
We're here, so it's no problem. So, but these are, like I say, it's just elegant simplicity. This is only $49.95. Nah, kidding.
It's just a bunch of straws. I mean,
Yeah, yes, but we had to pay the genius to make it. See, licensing fees.
Well, I'd be happy to make those for you here in the States.
No, they're not that much. But the covers, right now, again, we're trying to keep our offerings narrow and deep so that we can provide service and so forth and for everybody. We're just doing the Roma right now, and it's available in stainless and white. I anticipate we'll add to that as we get going. We'll expand that. But if you specifically have to have one of these others, we probably could arrange that.
And you're still selling towel racks too, I see?
Yes, we are. Yes. Now that's a beauty, isn't it? Paul cringes when he sees this stuff. This is typical. This is actually Tad Everhart's house. So, you know, he had to work with it. He had to do some ducting. But, you know, you look at the leakage of all these connections and the metal ducting, it's a lot. And you slap this stuff all over it and try to prevent the leaks. But these systems, again, 20 to 30% leakage. This is Tad's house up in Portland. He did use some trunk lines with ducting and then put it on a manifold and ran the ducting out to his house. He had some limitations. He had some, you know, it's a retrofit, so he didn't want to run home runs because of some of the distances he was going to have to deal with retrofitting the house. So using a trunk line, and then basically he's got upstairs trunks and then the downstairs is done directly. That's not a great picture, but ducting, it comes off a manifold there. That's the return air out of the upstairs. Light in here is a little bad, but this is the duct heater that he installed. That is actually, this is the heat recovery ventilator here. This is kind of a funky angle. This is looking up at the ceiling, and this is the heat recovery ventilator right here. But he's got return air here and his manifold off of that duct heater, 2,500 watt duct heater he's using. It's tied into the heat recovery ventilator with its controls, which is we have that capacity as a post heater, and it's so far running real well and working out very well for him.